And my calculations show that we have 139 days to the end of the year, and I'm not saying that we need to use any more than we would need to, but I think it's reasonable for us to continue this meeting until the next weekly business session. What are the board's thoughts?
Without objection.
We need a motion a motion to continue the meeting.
I'll make a motion to continue the meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. I'll second that motion.
No, wait a second. I want to get this done today.
All right, we're gonna put an end to the meeting right now. Okay, that's it. You guys are being very disrespectful of this process. You guys are all mature adults. Okay, that's it. This meeting is now adjourned. It is 12:36. Thank you.
Recording.
All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, August the 14th, 2025. It is 10 a.m., and this is the Josephine County Board of Commissioners convening for our weekly business session. We are doing a regular weekly business session like we do every week. We have agenda items on there. Within that, there's a public hearing, and the public will be given an opportunity to speak to that item and that item only. Thereafter, we will have an opportunity for the people to speak, public comment on any subject, again, any subject they would like to speak to. And then at the close of the weekly business session, we will open a hearing for the lease at 200 C Street, and where you will be given an opportunity to speak only to that particular topic. So I just want to be clear that everybody understands the format. All right, next up is requests and comments from citizens. And at this time, everybody here will be given 3 minutes to speak to any topic. And I stress that any topic you wish to talk about. It may include how nice the weather is, how good of a job we are doing or not doing. It may include the library if you choose to speak. You will be afforded an opportunity to discuss the lease 200 C Street at the hearing that will be after this weekly business session. So I will remind everybody that we have some rules on the wall right here. I know everybody here is going to be civil and polite. And so with that, any topic of your desire. Who would like to speak first?
I want to go back to my son. When he was growing up, we took him to the library a lot. And my late husband, passed away in 2000. We really monitored the books that he did in the children's section. And there was a time when I saw a book that was very questionable. And what was nice, I went to some elected official. He actually got it removed because this is not appropriate for small kids. So even though as we progress into a progressive society, and it seems to get pretty crazy out there, our children are innocent, and we have to maintain their innocence. And the way we do that by what they read and by what they see. And even in the public schools right now with the book Tricks, I believe both schools have gotten removed. I don't even want to graphically to tell you how bad it was, but the information and the picture editorials were, and I think one of the assemblymen, he read it on the floor. And they gabbled him down. He said, wait a minute, you're gabbling me down? And yet it's been taught to sixth graders? Excuse me, triple excuse me. So when we have things, we have a society that's changing, that anything goes down, that's unfortunate. I wish more churches would be into saying this is right and this is absolutely wrong. We're getting into where anything goes. And in the end times, it says good will be bad and bad will be good. So we got to be careful of what we do because our kids are at stake and they're our future and we love them to death. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. My name's Jim Goodwin. I've been a resident of Josephine County since 1977. Today, I'd like to talk about one particular decision that was made. I'll go back in time a little bit when the board decided to give all authority over personnel matters to one commissioner. Commissioners Smith and Barnett voted to give that authority and power to Chair Blech. Then ensued a series of decisions that I have been extremely critical of. Mr. Blech immediately fired 2 department heads, demoted a third, combined 2 departments into one, fired union staff, an entire code enforcement team at community development in direct violation of the collective bargaining agreement that this very board signed just a couple months before. No justification, no transparency, no reasons why, just did it. The beauty of that for Commissioners Barnett and Smith is they could sit in the shadows and let Mr. Blech swing that axe. No dirt on your hands. He had the power, he made the decisions, you could just stand by it. He could be the bad guy. One decision, though, required the entire board. That was the decision to fire 29-and-a-half-year Public Works employee and Director Rob Brandis. Again, very quietly, no justification, the rumors of reorganization needs. I can tell you it wasn't budgetary. Public Works, for those in this room that don't know, is 100% funded from the state. State gasoline tax dollars, other transportation fees fund that. It doesn't take a dime of local Josephine County taxes. Why then, without cause or justification, I think what gets lost is you're temporary stewards of these departments. They're not yours, they're ours. You're one out of 88,000 or so people. It's our department. Long after you're removed from this job, those departments will still be there, the employees will still be there, and they will still trying to be doing the work that needs to be done for the citizens of Josephine County. I don't expect an explanation for it because we'd never get one, but exposing these kinds of policy decisions needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's, no applause, no applause. Please respect the sign right here. If we get an outburst like this again, the meeting will be over. Thank you very much. All right, against the back wall over there.
Good morning, Commissioners. First of all, I'd like to declare that I have no conflicts of interest on what I'm about to say.
We need your name and where you live.
Yes, my name is Mike
I'm sorry.
Pelfrey, and I'm a Josephine County resident. Not too long ago, a local Democrat decided that they became unhinged in regards to some social media posts that I put out there. So I wanted to clear some stuff up about that because I went out of town that very same day on a fishing trip that had been planned for quite some time. I was accused of threatening the president or an ex-president of the United States, President Obama. But if you go back and actually look at my social media posts, you'll see that nobody was threatening anyone. The real threats come from the Democrats. You have people like Kathy Griffin holding an actual severed head of President Trump. You have politicians in DC and throughout the United States that call for the attack of ICE officers that are actually just doing their job, as well as the assassination of our current sitting president, Trump. So the reason I've mentioned the things about Obama and the fact that I personally feel that he is a traitor to the United States of America. He has committed treason. This is an opinion. But if you also look at the news of lately, you'll see that a lot of information is pointing to exactly that. The day that Trump came down the elevator, he was attacked from day one. They were calling for his impeachment before he actually took office. So they are actually the party of hatred. And when I say hatred, it's extreme. All you have to do is go outside these doors and go and attend one of their functions or their so-called rallies, and what you'll see is that they say some of the most disgusting things that you could possibly imagine about conservatives, but also about our sitting president. Who in their right mind? Did anybody, I don't remember one conservative calling for the impeachment of Obama or the impeachment of the aging and auto pen Joe Biden. Not one. But yet, look at how they attack President Trump. They also attack me because I mentioned that Obama should possibly go back. You know, I'm thinking that he's probably going to flee the country if he does get hit with charges for treason. And I mentioned the fact that he will go back to Kenya where he has belonged, and perhaps the tribes there will allow him to come back in and be a part of their tribes. These folks, all they have to do is get on their little devices and they can Google the fact that Obama's family is from Kenya. This is not a secret. He is a traitor. He's a treasonous traitor. And what is the penalty for treason? Thank you.
Thank you. Can I remind everybody, let's keep a sense of decorum here, because the snickering and the snide comments, they're not helping anybody. And I will give those that are being respectful a kudos. I really do appreciate it. But the few of you that are not helping this meeting move forward in a constructive manner, can we just kick it up a notch? Because we're all mature adults here. All right, who would like to speak next? Right.
Hi, my name is Mary Wells. I have lived in Grants Pass for about 14 years. And since I've lived there, I've been a frequent patron, volunteer, and supporter of our library. And today I came to talk about what the library has to offer. I'm sorry I showed up late. I ran here from work, and to anyone in the back whose feet I stepped on, I'm very, very sorry. So there's a lot of statements about the library that I've seen recently. I've paid very close attention to this issue. One note I've seen a lot is that the digital age has rendered libraries obsolete, that because we do have increased access to books and the ability to purchase books via digital devices without having to collect a physical book, libraries are then obsolete. I'd like to counter that by saying the library does offer free digital services to check out ebooks and audiobooks, to download them onto your phone, rather than paying for a subscription service or buying each book individually. In addition to this, the library provides free Wi-Fi from, I think, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. that can be accessed, which is truly a gift in a community that can be exceptionally rural towards the edges of town. I know from personal experience that having Wi-Fi installed out on a rural property can be exceptionally costly and a very hard thing to do. So it's very important that we have a space where people can go to access the internet, especially because it is so necessary in so many aspects of our day-to-day lives. Additionally, the library provides many public services. It provides a space for students or people who don't have other places to go to stay safe. It's the climate. We have very cold winters and very hot summers. We are an exceptionally rural and socioeconomically lower community. So it's very important that people have a place where they can go and stay safe and out of bad weather. The library also provides learning and information. If you walk through our computer lab, you'll find tons of free pamphlets and information on local public health services, local city services, career resources for getting a job, computer resources for learning how to use devices because they are just so crucial. So in conclusion, I'd like to say that the library is a public service and should be provided to all in the community. Thank you.
I work for a local nonprofit that supports people who have intellectual developmental disabilities, or IDD. These people often have fixed incomes with a cap on how much they're allowed to make without losing their benefits, which is one reason why this community in general is at a higher risk of being unhoused, though I suppose that's a matter for our city council. Suffice to say that having such a limited budget is an obstacle that can prevent people with IDD from being full and equal participants in a broader community. Having a free resource such as a library, a nonprofit public service like the fire department, is critical for people with IDD to be part of local events, access information, and meet people who aren't paid support staff. As an example, 2 people that we support in Southern Oregon have been using the library's computers to research their genealogies. One has been able to trace their family back to the late 1200s and has discovered ancestries that they were unfamiliar with. Up north, where the libraries are able to provide more services, as our library hopes to do, people we support enjoy learning about their interests and attending community classes such as American Sign Language and painting. Without a library, people with IDD would be more isolated from a community that struggles with proper accessibility and less empowered to learn, which they absolutely can do. I would argue that just as the city's closing of the J Street campsite without providing adequate alternative site brought the city into issues with the ADA, the county allowing the library to shut down would be a discriminatory act against people with disabilities. I urge you to give the library your full support so that it can flourish and continue to be an accessible space for people with disabilities.
Hi, Brad Converse, YMCA. First, want to say how proud I am of my staff getting up here. It's really exciting seeing the growth of our youth and having at least some small part, hopefully, in that. A couple updates. We have a dollar lease with you, which we love and really appreciate your relationship. We had shutdown week. During fair, we shut down our parking lot so that the fair can use it. And we try to utilize that time as well as possible. We drained the pool, made sure all the piping's good, which it is, which is very exciting. We reduced, there was about a 4,000 gallon a day leak through the lights. We plastered over that, got that taken care of. We resurfaced the hot tub as well. And it's something we haven't done in a long time that's the most noticeable. We resurfaced the basketball and the multi-purpose room floor. So we sanded them all the way down. There are a lot of layers of yellow, gross, like polyurethane junk. That's bright, it's clear. Got new paint lines that are a lot more simple, got a nice Y logo in the middle. We're taking care of the facility, investing in it heavily. The community's there. So many members there right now that the parking lot's starting to fill up again. I've heard that the library lease is modeled similarly to ours, and I just want to say how much we appreciate the lease. And it's 1978 county built the building. By 1983, it wasn't really working out for the county to operate it. Asked the YMCA to step in and operate it for you, and we've been doing that faithfully since then. We love that building. And in 2004, we expanded it as well. Spent over $2 million doing that. We take care of her. And so if this lease, which I've read it a little bit, sounds like it's pretty close to ours, it's great for us. And so if, any discussion around that, we're happy working with you in that manner. So I am a longtime member of the community. So I taught robotics classes at the library. I take my family to the library often and get our books there. It is such a great resource that deserves to, the partnership with you guys deserves to continue. So thank you for, especially Commissioner Barnett, thank you for putting all the effort in to do the work. So thank you.
I haven't heard anybody say that they don't think the library is necessary or helpful or anything like that. That's not the narrative. People are concerned about the funding of it. My understanding is that our tax dollars already pay $1.6 million per year, plus it goes up 3%. So it's not like no one is supporting the library. The library is being supported, and many people use it, and a lot of people appreciate it. I think that's a good thing. But what we're talking about at a time when we're trying so hard to balance the budget in our county, and it's a very difficult thing. You guys are facing these financial challenges all the time. All the departments need to pay their fair share, and things need to be pared down a little bit to make sure that we're not always running in the red. Anyway, thank you.
Mark Jones. I'm here today representing myself, a property-owning, tax-paying private citizen. So civilized societies, we need laws, and we require laws, and those laws need to be enforced, and that's the only way we remain a civilized society. So those laws come in many different forms. A form that we have here locally is our current county charter. Now, granted, it needs some amendments, needs some changes, we all know that. But the charter is a foundational governing document. It sets the structure of our county government, elected offices, powers, duties, and certain policies, like support for the library. It's a force of law locally. Within the county, the charter provisions have the same force and effect as the county ordinance or resolution. And in fact, it overrides ordinary county ordinances if they conflict. The limitations, obviously, are it can't conflict with the U.S. Constitution, the Oregon Constitution, or state statutes. So on that note, our county charter, section 14.5, labeled library support, says the board shall provide for the support and maintenance of the main library and library branches. Now that word shall holds a lot of meaning. And when a law, such as our county charter, states that it shall be done, then the board shall support the library and the maintenance of the library and its branches. That was amended in 1992, and I believe that was after or during the time that the 30 cents plus per thousand of county tax for the library was then absorbed into our general fund, making it the whole 58 cents that we have now. So I believe, and not knowing what the commissioners were thinking back then, back in the day, but my guess is they put this in the charter since it was amended in 1992 because of the fact that they took that money from the library and put it in the general fund. So I ask today, when you have your hearing, that you remember laws need to be enforced. Thank you.
John West, Josephine County. I have the charter right here. Let's open it. Since we got so many people that's so smart, let's go. This charter was created in 1981. Josephine County. We had a Josephine County Library. We have a community library. It is not a Josephine County library. This charter does not represent the library at hand. You will find out through the courts, this only represents a county library. The county taxpayers voted to get rid of the county library. And in place, they decided that they wanted a community library. They sent it on the tax levy and it got voted down. So then the library decided they had to go and handpick a certain area where they thought they would get representation for the community library. It passed 52-48, 6,200 votes against 5,200 or whatever, something like that. 52-48. Still was not supported tremendously. This charter does not represent a community library. You shall not spend our tax-paying money when we're outside the district for a community library.
Thank you. Anyone else this morning? This is on any subject. Remember, we'll be talking to the lease at 200 Northwest C Street in the following hearing. So first row right here, ma'am.
Morning, Commissioners. Nancy Lester, Grants Pass. I've been here every week for the last several months. I share with you the many programs that are available at the library, from the Sprout a Reader program and the Canine Reading Buddies that reach our youngest patrons, to the team programs developed and managed by an incredible 17-year-old who also came to speak to you again this morning, Mary Wells, to the displays on the democracy that remind everyone of our history that's in the library, and the outreach programs through the library's many other programs. I've talked about the role the library plays in staving off summer slide through our wildly successful summer reading program, and an update on that. It just concluded. 883 people participated, 535,127 minutes. That's 8,919 hours that people read this summer that they wouldn't have without that summer reading program, or not as much. Almost 30% of the county residents are library card holders. 240,000 items checked out of the library every year. Over 350 programs reach our youth. Almost 17,000 community members were reached through events and partnerships. This happens in a community where 15% of the residents live below the poverty line, and the median income is only $59,000. Please support the library. Continue to support the library. Thank you for Chris for negotiating the lease. Let's get it signed as written. Thank you.
Raleigh Smith, Grants Pass, Oregon. I take offense at being admonished because I want to roll my eyes, applaud in silence, and in other means display my feelings towards the three of you. And I want to remind you all, you're not going to silence me. In reference to the previous speaker, Chris Barnett, you did allude to people having a servant's heart. I have been volunteering in this county since 1989. Not just once a year, not just 5 minutes here and there, continually, every freaking day. And when we say volunteer, it's my time, my gas, my passion. I have 2 minutes remaining. And I'm going to ask the people in the audience, even if it's Mr. West or Mr. Pelfrey or the people in support of the library, to take my remaining time and in silence, figure out how we are going to have you three do your job. If I want to roll my eyes, if I want to say I want to vomit, toss up my toenails, or in any way dissent from your opinions, that is my right. So I'm going to turn my back to you, as you three have done to most of the public. And people can think in silence how we can contemplate making our community better. I have 1 minute and 14 seconds remaining, and I will do it in silence and turn my back.
Thank you. Anyone else this morning like to speak to any subject, any topic in the doorway?
Hi, my name is Zelda Bullen, and I'm a local teacher. Last time I was here, I was trying to support 4-H. I'm a robotics teacher. I wanted to offer robotics to kids from elementary school through high school through 4-H, so any kid from any school could learn robotics. But I don't get to do that now. I just teach it at my school, and only the kids who go to my school get to learn robotics. I just got a $3,500 grant for high school level robotics that could be available to kids all through our county through 4-H, but instead is available, again, only to the kids in my school. My son and I have taught origami classes at multiple libraries, and all I'm here for is to try and support the kids of my community and bring interesting projects and ways of learning and passion to them. And instead, through the actions of the commissioners, I keep getting denied to bring that to the whole community. Instead, I just get to bring it to my school. And that's really wrong. And what you guys have done to the library is shameful. I'm very, very happy every time I drive around and I see the I love my library signs everywhere. It's amazing the support this community has brought to the library. And I think the three of you need to figure out how to grow up and do what the community needs. And the kids in this community need better education. 30% of our kids are functionally illiterate. This is not a time to mess around with the library.
I know I'm old, but I'm Judy Christensen. I live in Grants Pass, and my family's been in Josephine County since 1853. One of the discussions we've had here is on the charter amendment. I have done volunteering, and I was on the library board of trustees in the 80s and the 90s when we were closing. That amendment to the charter was not given to us by the sitting commissioners at the time. A group of concerned citizens got it on the ballot and it was voted in. And it was voted in with the idea that they couldn't close the library because that's what had been going on, or discussion of it. The other thing I worked on very hard as a volunteer was the elephant in the room, which is the bulk of the county's budget, not budget, but money that they get from taxpayers, the 1.3 million that we voted in as a tax base for the library at the time. It was voted in, and then it was a 3-year levy. Then it became permanent, and then those sitting commissioners took the money and put it in the general fund. But it was voted on by the people of Josephine County to support the library. And that's where part of your tax money comes from. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I know there's somebody who's going to raise their hand. No? Okay. I'll bring it back to the board. This is an opportunity where the commissioners may respond, and in part two, response to a question or concern that was raised earlier.
Judy, on the library books, you can contest any book that you don't like, and I know that there's a procedure that I've talked to Ms. Lasky on, and I said, hey, what if somebody doesn't like a book? You can contest it. So I do encourage, if you don't like something at your library, you can contest it. There is a procedure for that. So I just wanted to make that clear. And Judy, I did hear your support for the library as well in the other part. So thank you for that. Brad at the YMCA. Hey, I love the improvements, Brad. If you're still here, maybe you had to step out. I visited the YMCA. They're a tenant of ours. Do an outstanding job. That's what I want to see when somebody also pays $1 a year lease. And they're doing outstanding stuff with that building. The pool, transparency. Yeah, I do a little bit of videos on social media so you know what's going on. And people said I hadn't been there in years. And they ended up going. Same with the pool, the Caveman Pool. The YMCA has taken over that program as well. So I'm very proud what the YMCA has been doing. Brad, thank you for leading that. I love the improvements. Just want to let you know it is not a county library anymore. It is a community library. I have researched this so much, and legal and everything like that. If it was in the charter, we wouldn't be here today talking. It is a private entity. So the library is part of the community. I acknowledge that, but this stuff about the charter, I have to disagree with you on that. And Mr. John West, I do agree with you on what you said. I can't find anything that it says in the charter that says a county library. It says a community. So it's a separate entity. I just want to let you guys know that. And it doesn't matter in the big picture of things what we're doing, but there is a separation. And I've gone to great lengths, and I'll have that debate. Show me where it says Josephine County Library. It doesn't anymore. It used to. And when it did, the charter applied to that. So I just wanted to get to you back on that. Mr. West was right on that. Stephen, he's in the back. Yeah, Stephen, I know you have a passion for the library. We met early on when I first got elected. So Stephen, thank you. We have a cordial, we've had conversations. So I welcome that, thank you. I know you have concern And I know that I encourage positive dialogue as well in our meetings. I hate the negative. The negative, get it out of here. It's not productive for any of us. We don't unite as a community over that. So Stephen, yeah, we're gonna try to work on the more positive. I want to anyway, so thank you, Stephen, for that. And I think, Chair, that's all I have for today. I just wanna tell everybody thank you for your input.
I'm trying. All right. Commissioners.
Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for your patience. That break was well needed. We will now start a public hearing at 11:37, and this is in regards to the lease discussion of the lease, 200 Northwest C Street. And I appreciate everybody's patience this morning, and I appreciate those that are being polite and civil. I really do appreciate that, and I hope that continues throughout this meeting. Judging from the amount of people that are here, I want everybody to be heard. As I said in the previous meeting, I think it's important. And what I would like to do to accommodate everybody, I know we have rules here that say that everybody gets 3 minutes. I would like to extend that. If you feel the need that you need 4 minutes, you're more than welcome to use 4 minutes when we get to the public comment section. But what we're going to do right now is this is an issue that's been worked on for quite a few months. And I would like to have an update or an opportunity for Commissioner Barnett to speak to the work that he's done in regards to the negotiation of this lease. And I would also like to have a representative from the library. I believe Ms. Lasky would like to speak to that too. I'm not going to put any time limits on what you're wanting to speak to, but I would just hope you'd use your professional judgment and understand that all of our time is valuable right here, but don't feel like you're under any time constraints. So Commissioner Barnett, if you'd like to get started.
All right, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board. Thank you, Commissioners. First off, thank you, everybody, for being here today and so concerned about this issue. And I've worked very closely with Kate Lasky, the Josephine Community Library CEO, and their council to develop a lease that is fair, sustainable, and satisfactory for both the library and the citizens of Josephine County. And I feel that we have achieved that goal. My thanks to our legal counsel, our property manager, and all who place their trust in me to help bring us to this day. The proposed lease agreement is a win-win for the community and the county. The proposed lease runs through December 31st, 2030. It's a 5-year lease at $1 a year. The Josephine Community Library will cover all operational and maintenance responsibilities, including utilities, janitorial services, landscaping, parking lot upkeep, HVAC maintenance, and both interior and exterior repairs. The agreement also includes $20,000, $424 upfront payment for a roof replacement that is much needed, and that's why we got to this conversation in the first place to try to negotiate this lease. It's also going to have a prorated cost in there for the years that they occupy the library, and that lease is publicly online. If you guys didn't get it, it is on the website. This arrangement mirrors other $1 per year leases that help foster vital community resources, and we have 5 other entities that have a $1 a year lease as well. And we place full operational responsibility on the tenant at no extra cost to you, the taxpayers. It ensures the library can continue serving residents without financial burden to the county, while the district gains long-term stability and goodwill. Again, we have currently 5 other tenants that do the $1 lease that provide goodwill in our community, and we let them maintain it, and they do a service for you. So it's a win-win that way, and I think the library is going to be, with this lease agreement, it's going to also be the same way. It is. The term is a 5-year agreement, allowing the library district to focus on its planned new library construction in 2027. It reflects genuine collaboration between the county, the library, and the citizens of Josephine County who have shared input through letters, public meetings, and in-person discussions, and I've heard from many of you, so thank you. Despite public rumors, the library was never evicted nor given any notice to vacate. That email comes across my desk once a week. I can't be more clear how to get that message out, but I'm going to do it here. The original intent in January, on January 6th, was simply to clarify responsibility for building repairs that were superseding and accruing. That's why we wanted to get to the table, and that's why this whole thing came up. And mind you, Commissioner Smith and I, 3 hours in our term, and this happened, okay? I apologize, but I have to say that, you know, getting the information that we've gotten now, trying to work on a resolution, I think the intent of what that was got blown out of proportion. The more I look back at it, and I think Commissioner West at the time was there, and it was just simply trying to get the library and the board back together to discuss some repairs on the building. And that's what I see. Some of you may disagree, but that's here nor there. Let's work on a solution, right? But I just want to say the original intent was to simply clarify responsibility for building repairs. This lease addresses that concern in full, delivering a fair and balanced outcome for all parties for a true win-win for everybody involved. Because the library is private, it's not a county library, I just wanted to reiterate that I know a lot of you think it's in the charter, and I addressed that earlier, is here nor there. Let's forget that. Can we just work on moving forward with a good lease that's fair to everybody? Here's what I've heard. I've heard from a lot of the library folks, I love my library. I get you. I have a library card too. And then I've heard from the other ones, make them pay their fair share. I've heard that too. So the board, appointed me to help kind of bring this to the table. We're here today. We've worked very hard to make it a win-win for those people that want the library to pay their fair share and for the library to get a good deal still, to do their function. How do you make a win-win out of it? Our lease agreement that is proposed is a win-win, 100% responsibility on the library for using a free building that we provide, you, the taxpayers. But the taxpayers don't want to pay extra. I hear you. So with this new lease agreement, if you read it, there's no cost to the taxpayers on this. None. Library gets to use this. They get to provide unity for you and the community with all the things that they provide. It's a service, right? And I think that's what you guys want. I've heard that loud and clear. Loud and clear. And let me tell you, I want this to be done. So I know that also those concerns of pay your fair share are addressed in this new lease. Please understand that. There is no cost to Josephine County taxpayers to fund the library any more than what they're already doing. So I hope that we can all come together, and our job as commissioners is to weigh things out, public opinion, input, and that's what you guys are doing here today. So I've listened, and I think we have a great lease to propose.
Thank you, Commissioner Barnett, for your work on this proposed lease. At this time, we would give the library a representative to speak. And again, no time constraints, whatever you feel time you need. Absolutely. I figured that.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm Mark Bartholomew, Medford, Oregon, and I'm the attorney for the Library District. It is a district, so I want to stress that. It's not private, it is public, but it's a special district. So, as you all know, since January 6th, the library and its supporters were on high alert, and they felt that they were in peril of termination. Following that, they're at best in some kind of a flux position, a purgatory of sorts. But then several months ago, the board made the wise choice to appoint Commissioner Barnett as a negotiator. And from there, that gave me a little bit of optimism and hope that we could get this resolved. So Kate Lasky, Wally Hicks, Leah Harper, Commissioner Barnett, and I had, I think, at least 4 lengthy sit-down meetings to negotiate the revisions to the lease. We didn't always agree, but we did negotiate in good faith. One thing that was a constant was Commissioner Barnett saying that we're going to get to a win-win. And understandably, I was initially skeptical, but he was right, and I'm not skeptical anymore, because what you have before you is a win-win. Barnett's summary just now was spot on. This has been going on for a long time, and it's created vitriol on both sides. It's been a distraction. Time to move on. We ask that you approve this today. There is no reason that it cannot be done today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, commissioners. I'm Kate Lasky. I'm the library director for Josephine Community Library. And thank you, Commissioner Barnett, for the opportunity to speak. As we've stated over the past several months, representatives from both the library district and the county's appointed negotiator, Commissioner Barnett, have engaged in a series of negotiations around the lease for the Grants Pass branch. And those many hours of discussions have been grounded, I believe, in a shared commitment to serving the people of Josephine County. Today is the culmination of that work. The draft lease before you has been thoroughly vetted, as our attorney said, by the attorneys from both the county and the library district, and as well as the library district board. The draft lease reflects compromise, I believe, on both sides and underscores the library's ongoing commitment to maintaining the facility that serves the entire community. Under this agreement, the district is taking on new responsibilities, including landscaping, routine building maintenance, an amortized contribution towards the new roof, and commitments that we are willing to make in the interest of partnership and sustainability. There is no additional cost to the county. The county's role is to provide the building, and the library will take care of it. In exchange for those commitments, the lease maintains the county's $1 per year lease or $1 per year commitment to serve it for the next 5 years, with no option to terminate except for cause or by mutual consent. This represents the stability that our community needs. While this is a short-term lease, it will allow us to continue to operate in the current facility while we work to build a new library in the years ahead. It ensures normal operations for our patrons throughout that process. The Grants Pass branch is a hub for library services countywide, coordinating operations, technology, programs for the branches in Williams, Wolf Creek, and Illinois Valley, Cave Junction. Uncertainty at the main branch puts the stability of all 4 libraries at risk. So the stability in Grants Pass means that children can keep coming to Storytime, job seekers can rely on internet access, and the 27,000 cardholders and families can count on the library being there when they need it. And as many of you know, the library at 200 Northwest C Street has been a cornerstone of this community since 1959. And while we continue to work on a new facility, this allows us to maintain those essential services in the meantime. These discussions have been going on for a long time. The past 3 months devoted to active negotiations. And we've had agreement in principle for the last 2 months. And our community has been waiting for a total of 8 months to reach this point. We are finally here at the finish line, and there is no reason to delay any further. I've heard some talk that this might not be voted on today, and that it can't be voted on today, and I want you to know that that is not the case. It's time to put this to rest so that both the county and the library district can move forward, like our attorney said, with other important business before us. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to celebrate the signing of this lease together as a shared commitment to the service to the public. Thank you again for the collaboration. Thank you, Commissioner Barnett, and I look forward to moving this forward today. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, at this time, no. If we're gonna go down that road, I'll shut this meeting down right now, and I don't want to do that. Please don't force my hand. At this time, if you want to show your enthusiasm in a courteous and constructive way, I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to speak. As I said earlier, We will not abide by the 3 minutes. If you feel like you need 4, you're more than welcome to use all 4 minutes. So at this time, who would like to speak this morning in the back row? Please, everybody, let's keep a sense of decorum, not just for the audience, the speakers, and I'd also ask the same of the board up front here. So let's just keep it polite, civil. Thank you.
Perfect. I think that's the least that we should do. Mike Pelfrey, again, Josephine County resident. I'm going to say that I have never not said that I didn't support our library. What I have seen is that not our library, but the library system in general has gone down a completely different path than what I remember when I was a kid. And I've only been to this library one time, and it was very concerning that when I did go into the library, I witnessed homeless people sleeping in the aisleways. And so we mentioned about the fact that we want to keep our library a good place and a safe environment for the children in our community that utilize the library. Well, I think it would be important that the library staff at least monitor who's coming into that library, because I'm sorry to tell you, and if you don't know this by now, we have some very unseedy characters within our community. So I just would like to hope that the library will look after the young folks in our community. The other question that I have that pertains more to this lease is the fact that what I would like to know is what happens at the end of the 5 years. So right now, the discussion has been how much, or, the county needs to do this, the county needs to do that. Well, it sounds to me like the community library is on the hook for building supposedly a new library in our community. Does that mean that when that happens, the county is completely null and void from any more negotiations? It is a done deal. These are two separate entities. So I would like to know that that is addressed, because that sounds to me like it's going to be a ginormous expense that's going to take place, however, in the future. So if in fact that does take place, I want to know that we, meaning the citizens, taxpaying citizens of Grants Pass, because I think we have already enough skin in the game by being unfortunately forced to pay taxes towards the library for those especially that don't utilize it and don't find it benefits their personal situation. So I would like to know whether or not the county and the citizens are going to be on the hook any further once they do decide to break ground. That's all I have today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Vicki Palmerton, Grants Pass. I just am curious, if you are going to vote on it today, why we need to have public comment ahead of that. Thank you.
Commissioners, John West, Josephine County. I'm a little perplexed with this lease in hand. It's a 5-year lease with no out clause, except for insubordination. And you three work for 88,000 people in Josephine County. You're supposed to serve 88,000 people in Josephine County. That is an asset of the taxpayers of Josephine County. You're not making 1 penny of money for serving the taxpayer of Josephine County. If we sell the Dimick campus and we have to relocate those entities of planning, building, public health, and facilities, the estimated cost is $236,000 a year if we was going to lease that building back per year. Where does that money come from? You're not getting money to restore money. You're not, a normal lease dollar figure for that building, you're not even getting close. You're getting a speck. So who are you representing here? Building continues to be owned by the taxpayers. Once the repairs are done, $1 a year is nothing. I don't know where we come up with this $1 a year figure, but it is not, in today's world, does not make business sense. Nobody in their right mind would lease a building for $1 a year. Even if you're saying, well, you do the maintenance cost, check the companies that lease buildings out. Nobody does that. Grants, yeah, grants are going away. They're going away, but we're not replacing anything. We have no way of creating revenue. We keep talking about, well, let's figure out a way to create revenue, but we're not taking our assets and making revenue with it. We're giving the revenue away. So where the taxpayers already pay $1.6 million a year for the library support, which is great. But then the taxpayers that aren't in the district are paying to support a library that they said no to. And you would be forcing them to do that. That is wrong. The additional costs to the taxpayers, yeah, there is additional costs. The additional cost is the revenue that is not being created from the asset that we all own. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess it's afternoon now. Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen O'Kay, resident of Grants Pass since 1972. I just want to especially acknowledge Mr. Barnett. I am so pleased at the negotiating you've done with the library, at the win-win situation that we're in. Thank you. You listened, and I thank you for that. I urge the commission to please vote on this today, and let's get this behind us and move forward, because there's a lot to do in this town. But I want to thank you. I'm very pleased that the library is happy with it, and if that's the case, I'm happy with it. So thank you, Mr. Barnett.
Hello again, Terry Hopkins, President and CEO of the Grants Pass Chamber of Commerce. As I begin my testimony again this afternoon, Mr. Smith, your comments rung true to me after addressing the public. The collaboration and the ability to look at multiple subjects and different issues at a time is vitally important. And I know you as commissioners show up to the Chamber's Business Retention and Expansion Committee, your liaisons for our Government Affairs Committee. And the issue at hand today with the library is exactly that. It is a community resource. But with that being said, and your acknowledgement of what Lemonade Day has meant for the youth, education, aspiring entrepreneurship, access to learning, I have the pleasure of doing that one day a year, and it takes a lot of work. The library does that all year, every year. So with that being said, on behalf of the Grants Pass and Josephine County Chamber of Commerce, I stand here to strongly support the proposed lease between the library and Josephine County, recognizing that the library is a vital community asset and long-term investment in our region's future. Our library not only provides access to books and information, but also serves as a hub for lifelong learning, workforce development, small business resources, and civic engagement. It is that big picture topic, Mr. Smith. By equipping residents with skills, knowledge, and opportunity, the library helps cultivate a stronger workforce, a more informed citizens, both of which are essential to attracting employers, supporting entrepreneurship, and expanding our future tax base. And I would like to speak to that, expanding our future tax base, because I do appreciate your fiscal conservative approach to running our county. You've said over and over again that rather than increasing taxes, we should be looking to increase our tax base. I think a short-sighted approach would be to look at a revenue we could enjoy from a single property whereas we would be completely overlooking the opportunity that the library is providing of information, education, and expanding that tax base by empowering today's youth to become tomorrow's entrepreneurs. This truly is an investment in our future and expanding that tax base and meets your goals of fiscal conservative approach, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Like Library Director Kate Lasky said, there's no reason that this should go beyond today. Thank you for your work in being the liaison, Mr. Barnett, to not only this negotiation, but to the Chamber. I'm very pleased with the outcome and hope you'll vote in favor of supporting this lease today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Donna Robinson, Josephine County resident. I'd like to take this opportunity to commend all the hard work you've done working on the lease for the library. I believe what this outcome is fair for all parties concerned. But I'd also like to state that had you taken the reasonable steps to merely invite the library to the negotiating table, rather than terminating their lease, or threat, even though you didn't follow through with the actual paperwork, that none of us would be here today. And I hope from this you take the lesson that knee-jerk reactions are probably not the best way to govern. So hopefully moving forward, you'll spend some thoughtful time before you make those decisions. And in closing, I hope that you take the opportunity today to vote on the lease and put this behind us. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jennifer Roberts, and I'm the co-chair of the Grants Pass Friends of the Library. A lot has been said today about the money involved with this project, and everybody is focused on the draft lease agreement in front of you, and rightly so. But I'd like to take us a little further back to January of this year, when on his last day as commissioner, after being recalled, Commissioner West convinced this board to terminate the library's lease with only 30 days' notice. The stated reason for voting for that termination, and the reason given multiple times since, was that it was just to get Library Director Kate Lasky to come to the table. But the idea that library leadership refused to negotiate was a lie. Ms. Lasky had offered several other days in January when she would have been available to meet, but only accompanied by the library's legal counsel. But there were other reasons given for that termination. Commissioner West tried very hard to make the case that the library's lease and its terms were somehow unfair to other departments in the county and to the taxpayer. I'd like to address those claims by going even further back. In 1997, Measure 50 was passed in the state of Oregon. Measure 50 allowed counties to absorb local levies into the general fund. The only levy in Josephine County at the time was a 33-cent tax to support libraries. And yes, it was absorbed into the general fund. And it stayed there. Commissioner West did not mention this when he made his claims, nor did he mention that that original 33 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, which again was voted on by the citizens of this county for the support of the library, now makes up 56% of the county's 59-cent tax rate. That was originally a library tax. Money collected by the county specifically for that use has instead been redirected to county operations, to county departments for the last 28 years, even while the library itself was closed in 2007. If that levy had stayed in place in 1997, the total amount collected by the library would have been $55 million. Commissioners, from that levy in 1997 to the commitment of citizens who reopened the library as a nonprofit in 2009 and then passed it to the district, to the voters who passed that library district in 2017, from the community here now that has shown such passion and support for the library since the termination of the lease in January 2025, the people of Josephine County have said loudly, again and again, that they love their library. You would be wise to listen to them. Please vote for this lease as is today. Thank you.
Hi, Mary Wells, Grants Pass. I wanted to thank the commissioners for the opportunity to speak. I wanted to thank Chris Barnett. You've been involved with this from the beginning, and your open-mindedness has been just excellent to watch, especially in a moment in time when politics are very often polarized. I've appreciated your open-mindedness. So what Commissioner Smith said earlier really spoke to me about, how we're all here today for the library. And I wanted to remark to that. So I learned how to register to vote at the library through a program they ran about 3 years ago. When I got my driver's license, I registered to vote. I'm now a registered independent in the state of Oregon. I won't be eligible until after November of this year because I'm 18. I drove to this meeting today, and I couldn't have attended otherwise. I didn't have a way to get here without that. I got my permit and my driver's manual from the library. I read them and studied them until I could get my license. And this is not the first or last public meeting I have attended or will attend. But I'm not just here because I love my library and because it's given me so much. I'm here today because I can't vote, and even though I can't vote, I trust you. I trust you to make the community where I live a better place. I put my faith in you, and I can't speak for everyone in this room, but I think a great number of us put our faith and our trust in you to protect our community and to make it a safe and a better place. And that's why I'm here today. So I would urge the commissioners to please vote on this lease as is. I think it's a wonderful job, and it's a wonderful product of months of negotiation to really serve the community. So please take the trust that I offer to you to protect my community and do what is best to serve us. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Chris, and as you pointed out so astutely, I am pretty new to this town, and I am here because...
Welcome.
I'm sorry?
Welcome.
Because libraries, of course, are very important. I'm sure that this committee over the last 8 or 9 months has heard many positives of what a library provides for a community. It provides community, it provides resources. I am sad to hear that there are some people here that don't see any use for a community. I would encourage that person to actually visit a library and start reading the many resources that are available. I too want to urge you to vote on this. Obviously, the community is very passionate about this library. They were so passionate that they did vote in a 3% levy, I learned today. And so I am very happy to hear that an agreement has been reached for the common interest of this community. Regarding the gentleman who said, think of the money that can be made with that building, I have worked both in the private sector and in the government sector. Government is not for profit, and we should not be guided by what profit we can make of existing buildings. We should look at existing buildings, how they can serve the community. I heard today that there were 5 other buildings that also have a similar lease. I'm assuming that these other entities also serve the communities. That is what government is all about. We pay our taxpayers, and then as a consensus, we spend that money on what best fits the community. A library is obviously a very valuable source for the community. So I too want to urge you today to vote on this so that we all have the resources to make decisions and to research our decisions as we move forward with our votes. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Gail Potasek. I have owned property in Grants Pass for over 22 years and have been a full-time resident for the past 5 when I retired. I've worked for over 20 years for not-for-profit organizations, and I understand, and as a part of that, I negotiated contracts. Granted, I never negotiated a contract with a public entity, so I'm not exactly sure of the ins and outs. But I am sure that once you have a negotiated contract that every party agrees with, is you sign that contract and you implement it. So I also don't understand why we're having public comment and we just aren't signing the contract. I also have two other comments I'd like to make. And one is that libraries like school, the police, fire departments, public work departments, all of those are providing services for the public good. And they're funded through taxes from the community. I pay those taxes. The community library is a district. So in a sense, it's a government entity. It's not a private organization. So it's appropriate for them to have a $1 lease because, again, that provides them a space in which they can continue to provide services for the public good. So that's the end of that comment. The next comment is about how funding gets from taxes I pay to the library. So I just want to paint a scenario for you. We just put solar on our house. And if I paid the solar company money to put solar on the house, and the bosses of the business decided, I think I'd rather put those funds towards something else. You'll get some, but I'm going to give some to some of my other customers. I would be outraged. And so I think would everybody in this room, including yourselves. So why is it okay to take money from my taxes that are going specifically for library services and using it for something else? I don't understand how that can happen. And that's the end of my comment. Thank you.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Nancy Lester, Grants Pass. I'm thankful to finally, after all these weeks and months, be here after reading the proposed lease for the building at 200 C Street. The lease as written will ensure the security and stability the library needs to continue providing the Josephine County community with not only access to books and other materials, but to all the programs that I've talked about over the last few weeks. These programs reach all ages, from infants and toddlers to teens, to those employed, to those looking for work, and to those of us who are retired and love our library. The library district was approved by voters 8 years ago. And ever since then, it has managed to a balanced budget as required, even though the tax revenue it receives in November of each year only pays about 86% of its cost to run. It works hard to make up that difference, mostly by grants and donations, and by continually running understaffed. The library could not function effectively without the more than 200 volunteers working over 21,000 hours, and to them I say a heartfelt thank you. Having to pay for the exterior maintenance, the roof, and possibly an HVAC system will make achieving the balanced budget even more challenging, but I am confident that the hardworking library staff and their supporters will find a way to make it happen. This is your community working together, loving and supporting the library to make sure it serves all 88,000 people in Josephine County. So there's just one more step in the process. That's to get the lease approved by you as it's written. It's already been approved by the library board. Let's get it signed and let's make it happen today. Thank you.
This is going to be short, so don't worry. It's a wonderful day, I think. And
Name and where you live approximately. Your name and where you live.
oh, I'm so sorry. Jill Pearson, Grants.
Thank you.
I haven't been here that long, nearly 2 years, and I have never met such a giving community as there is in Grants Pass. And I think somebody said that people are focusing just on the library, and yet I know so many people here that do other volunteer things with other, food for help with the homeless, helping people with AIDS, there are so many people who multiply, lots of different volunteering, take advantage of volunteering for many things because they are so wanting to give back to the community. And I just wanted to say that it's not just the library. Everybody here loves, well, that's most people really love the library, but there are also other things that they do voluntarily. And I just wanted to say how wonderful that is for a community. Thank you.
Deb Berg, Josephine County. My dad was a German immigrant. He dropped out of school, went into the Army, was a paratrooper in Korea. Needless to say, I'm a first-generation college graduate, and I am not afraid to use my intelligence and education for the betterment of my community. That being said, I'm going to leave you with a piece of wisdom from my dad. I support the library. If you think an education is expensive, try stupidity.
Hello, Kathy Millard, Grants Pass. I've got 5.5 pages of nonprofits here. I will submit if that's okay. I don't agree with the terms. At the time the library was set up to pay $1 a year, we were flourishing with logging here, as well as the YMCA, and I believe the fairgrounds, and you say there's 2 more, are paying only $1 a year. Times have changed. The library's coffer is quite full. I don't know if you've shared this with the city, because now it will be city revenue taken away when they go in their new location. I feel that they want the library, and that's fine. I feel that they need to pay more to be there. There's no revenue coming in. I don't understand either why people that wanted to opt out, that has been silenced. I'd like to know that too.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. This is a very difficult job. You've really gotten beat up today, and I appreciate all that you do in listening to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Carnegie Library stood on the site of the jail.
Your name and where you live.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Judy Christensen, and I'm from Grants Pass.
Thank you.
When it was torn down to make the jail, the new library was built across the street. And it was so exciting to go in and see the new library, although I was pretty attached to that old Carnegie Library with the black and white tile floors. I was 9 years old when the library opened. It has been in this community as a center, a place for high school kids to meet up and work after school because there was no place at the school. I graduated in '68. You stay in a community because of what the center of the community is. Yeah, we have lots of centers. We have churches, we have organizations, but the library touches the greatest number of people from all walks of life, and always had. My mother, we couldn't afford the books. My mother and I would go once a month, and we'd each get a stack, and she would read through them. She would be horrified at the thought that the library was closed. She died when she was 62. So now that I've given my history, please support the library that is part of our community and was built for that purpose. Thank you.
Lori Patch, Josephine County. I would not move to a town that didn't have a library. I think a vibrant library is a sign of a healthy community, and it is a hub, and we have a very vibrant library. I really encourage you to vote yes today on the lease so that we can move forward and put our positive energy towards good things in our community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Matt Spurlock. I'm Grants Pass. I'm here today as yet another member of this community who believes in our public library. I share the idea with recalled Commissioner West that the library is an asset, although we may have a different sentiment. I take my 3-year-old daughter to the library often. Yesterday, I managed to drag her out of the library after nearly 2 hours of crafts and a scavenger hunt with other children. The library is one of the few true public spaces left that is open to everyone, regardless of income, politics, or circumstances. Our world is so full of microtransactions. Having a place where all the products and services are provided at no cost is an opportunity to come up for air when we are drowning in corporate greed. The Ben Bones Room of the library also serves as a free public meeting space that is available for anyone to reserve multiple times per month. I happen to have the room reserved after one of the previous meetings that you have with the library board, Mr. Barnett. I know budgets are tight and priorities are many, but investing in the library, as the citizens had voted to do by levy, is one of the most cost-effective ways we can invest in our people. It prevents problems before they start, by helping kids succeed in school, by helping adults find work, and by giving the community a safe, constructive gathering space. I'd like to reiterate that had the library levy not been absorbed into the general fund in 1997, that it would have received over $50 million last year. You've undoubtedly seen the I Love My Library signs. I ask that you please vote to extend the lease, not just because of Section 14.5 of the Josephine County Charter, but because it is the right thing to do and the will of your constituents. If at the end of the lease in 2030, the board and the courts decide that the library is no longer subject to the county charter, I ask that you do a feasibility and cost study of erecting a new library and satellite branches with the same level of services. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, please.
Hello, y'all. How are you? And how are you gentlemen today? I'm a little short, but I'll stand on my toes.
Pull it down so that we can hear your name and where you live.
Okay.
And also remember that you're addressing the board here, not the public behind you.
I beg your pardon. Okay, my name is Linda Griffiths, or Linda G, as the case may be. I just want to tell you that the library is like a second home to me. I can go there, I can see friends, I can use the computers, read the magazines, and the people that come in to use our library are very wonderful. And if y'all would come in, I'd say that again to you. Thank you for letting me stand here and say anything about our library. But it's beautiful. And the people that work there, beautiful. And you guys are beautiful for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Steve Croniger, Grants Pass again. My wife and I are longtime volunteers. We helped reopen the library. When the library was closed. We moved here in 2007 to a county with no libraries. Anyway, so we've been a longtime volunteers and donors, and my wife's not with me right now because she had to go home and get ready to go and do her shift at the library. She does circulation. And she wanted to say, so I'm going to speak for her. I'm going to try anyway, that for the first several months, there's been an uncertainty about the library because the lease was canceled. People are coming up. I mean, these are patrons, citizens of Josephine County coming up to her, and they talk freely, just like Linda did. Linda's also a volunteer. And they would mention that they were worried. In fact, some of them didn't renew their cards, or were coming in and saying, well, I don't know, should I renew my card because the library might not continue going? And that type of uncertainty is not good to people. It's not good. We do our best to explain to them, no, we're doing our best. For a while there was no negotiation, but once the negotiations started, we were able to say positive things about commissioners and getting together and working out some kind of compromise so that we could be assured that our library will always be here. And so I really appreciate the work that Commissioner Barnett and also on our side, Kate, lawyers got involved and figured out a way to make it happen. And I mean, that's a lot of work, a lot of stuff that had to go on for you to figure out something that works for everyone. And I do see it's a win-win situation. I was one of those ones. It's like, what? We have to help with maintenance and all that stuff. But I see how it makes sense. It really does make sense. So I'm going to urge you, for myself and my wife, that you do vote to approve this new lease agreement. And let's all be really positive, walking around, big smiles on our face. Thank you so much.
Gail Gasso, I live in the Grants Pass area. I remember being very, very young and living rurally outside of Sacramento. And the only access to reading for me was a bookmobile that came every 2 or 3 weeks to our area. And I was thrilled to run up to it, grab 3 or 4 books to hold me over for the next time it came. And that fueled my love for reading. I cannot see myself living in a community that did not have a library to go to grab books, because I can't afford to buy books, honestly. I'm on a fixed income. But I remember falling in love with reading when I was very young. And I continue to read to this day. And I don't want to have to find another way to have books available. So thank you for reaching some sort of negotiations. And please, today, just sign the damn lease. Let's get moving. Thank you.
I'm Larry Arthur, and I live in Grants Pass. I got my library card from the Carnegie Library here in 1944 and used it a lot. We didn't have the money to buy a lot of things, and there wasn't a whole lot available at that point during the war. That library has served the community very well for a long time, and not only the children need it, but all the adults who have to change jobs and learn about new things, as well as us retirees who again are back on limited incomes and can use those facilities. I'm looking forward to their having more space and being able to provide more things like lending libraries for things that we need occasionally to use one time and don't have to buy if we can get it from the library. It doesn't have to be restricted to what libraries always were. They can develop and will develop, if we give them the opportunity, to help us live our daily lives much easier and much more affordably.
I'm Suzanne Harmony, and I live in Grants Pass in the county. We didn't live in the district, but we were the first people to opt in. And I proudly wear that badge that my husband and I saw that libraries were an incredibly important part of this community, and that funding needed to be permanent. Not only does it come out of my taxes, but I also give monthly to the foundation. I volunteer 2 afternoons a week in the children's department. I'm a retired kindergarten teacher. And one of the things that I get to do as a volunteer in the children's department is to train the volunteens. Are you aware of the fact that we have teen volunteers in our library? Do you know that we have teens that volunteer? And I get to train them, and they're wonderful. We needn't worry about this generation coming up. They're terrific kids. They're smart, they're eager to learn, and they have a volunteer's heart. And please sign the lease today.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no more comments, I'll bring it back to the board. At this time, I would like to point out the time of day. It is 12:34. My thoughts at this point in time are that this board would need to deliberate this to some extent. I don't know if my colleagues here have any commitments, but I do have a 1 o'clock commitment today. I don't believe that there'll be ample time to discuss this. And I would like to entertain to table this hearing until next weekly business session where we can finish this. My reasons are because of the time of day today, as well as the consensus of one party's desire to push this to the finish line. And my calculations show that we have 139 days to the end of the year, and I'm not saying that we need to use any more than we would need to, but I think it's reasonable for us to continue this meeting until the next weekly business session. What are the board's thoughts?
Without objection.
We need a motion a motion to continue the meeting.
I'll make a motion to continue the meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. I'll second that motion.
No, wait a second. I want to get this done today.
All right, we're gonna put an end to the meeting right now. Okay, that's it. You guys are being very disrespectful of this process. You guys are all mature adults. Okay, that's it. This meeting is now adjourned. It is 12:36. Thank you.
Recording.
Okay, sure. So we were all very surprised. We were very hopeful that there would be a vote today and that we could put this uncertainty and instability behind us and move forward. And we were really hopeful that there would be a vote today. All of the comments in favor of the library were very convincing. It seemed to me like it was in the bag. And then at the very last minute, Commissioner Blech just closed the meeting and there was no vote. Commissioner Barnett tried to make a motion for a vote, and Commissioner Blech just shut it down. And so again, we have to wait. Again, this is being postponed. Again, we don't know what will happen, and the library has to operate with that uncertainty and instability.
Thanks to you, ladies. You know that the phenomenon called sound is a wave in the air, pulsing at a certain speed.
Try and angle it in your direction.
These waves hit the eardrum. And are turned into vibration, which the brain translates into what we call sound. This is a new dimension in sound. This is love.